Welcome back to the GSMC Golf Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Garrison McDaniel, and we're on to our third segment of the night talking about Scottie Scheffler's amazing year and what a year he's having. Let's get right into this conversation here. He is the best golfer in the world by a lot. He is the FedEx Cup he is top of the FedEx Cup standings by a lot. He is having a year that we haven't seen since probably Tiger Woods, how dominant he is being. We talked about on the first segment, he is the first player since Tiger Woods and only the second ever player to win the Masters, the Players, and the Memorial Tournament all in the same year. He has won 4 of 7 signature events this year, I believe, which I think that ties the record for most signature events won in a single year. I think 5 would be the record, and he has a chance to do that at the Travelers Championship after the U.S. Open. He has already won the Masters this year. We're going to talk about all of his, the breakdown of all of his placements, but to understand how, amazing of a year he's having, let's look into the stats first. He is first in strokes gained total. He is first in strokes gained tee to green. He is second in strokes gained off the tee. And I think that might be the most important thing. He has fixed his accuracy off the tee, and he's not finding himself in the rough and in bad situations on holes that he can't afford it. He's hitting a lot of fairways. His total driving is 6th in the PGA Tour right now. He is 10th in accuracy. His longest drive was at the Century, that the hole, whatever hole it was, he had a 430-yard drive. Everybody had like a 470-yard drive at the Century. I forget what hole that was, but it was a downhill hole, so it doesn't count. But that, very impressive what he's been able to do with accuracy. His driving distance has been around 301 average this year. That's right where you kind of want to be for a lot of these tournaments. I mean, you expect to be right at 300, and that will put you at a good second shot in on par 4s and par 5s. His left rough tendency, I think, would probably be the weakness of his game, is he's hitting the left rough a lot of the times off the drive at 105, or he is 105th place at that at 14.31%. However, he is the best at playing out of the left rough, so maybe he's just trying to hit it into the left rough because he loves it. Distance from edge to fairway, 18 feet 8 inches. That's first. So he's hitting the middle of the fairway when he hits fairways. His club head speed is 47th. His greens in regulation, first. Proximity to the hole, first. Approaches from 150 to 175, first. Approaches from 50 to 125, first. Approaches from 100 to 125, first. Approaches from 75 to 100, first. Approaches from inside 100, second. Approaches from outside 100, third. Fairway proximity, first. You look at Scottie Scheffler and everything, he's just number one in. It's ridiculous. He goes for the green at a 74.7. He doesn't lay up ever. He goes for the green 3/4 of the time, and that's 6th on the PGA Tour. He's 4th in scrambling percentage at 69.20%. He is 70% at scrambling from 20 to 30 yards out, which is second. Proximity to hole from sand, second at 7 feet 1 inches. Putting average, first at 1.66 putts per green. First in putting average. This was the weakness of his game. When you're looking at Scottie Scheffler and saying he needs to fix something, for so long it was that putting, and he is first. Birdie or better conversion percentage, first at 38.96%. He is converting on birdies when he gets an opportunity to do so. He is third in putts per round on the second round, which is very impressive. One putt percentage, 16th. Putting from 15 to 20 feet, 8th. Scoring average, first, of course. Birdie average, first. Par breaks, or breaking par, first. Par 4. He's first on par 4s. He's first on par 5 in scoring averages. He's 8th on par 3 in scoring averages. I mean, what else? Like round 1 scoring average first, round 2 scoring average first, round 3 scoring average 12th. Maybe those Saturdays he needs to work on. If there's one thing, Sunday scoring average first. It's just ridiculous. He's first in literally everything. Consecutive cuts, second at 38 consecutive cuts. I'm actually curious who's first. I'm actually going to look into that. Now I'm curious who's first. It's Xander Schauffele who is in first at 48 straight cuts made for Xander Schauffele. That is an impressive stat. But we're talking about Scottie Scheffler, and it is very, very impressive. He is also, of course, first in official money earned at $24 million made this year, and we're not even to the third major of the year. That is a record for most money earned in a single year, and we're not even at the halfway mark of the season. The U.S. Open marks the third major, which is the halfway mark of the season. What are we doing? Scottie Scheffler he is actually amazing this year. Number of wins, 5 wins on the year. That's of course first. He is first in FedEx Cup points. We talked about that at 4,351. I think that already eclipses Victor Hovland's points last year, but I do have to look to make sure that that's right. Don't quote me on that. But just every part of his game is impressive. His wedges, his putter, his driver, his irons, all of it is insane. It's so impressive. And you know what that gets you? Look at the results. First at the Memorial. Of course, we just talked about that. Tied second at the Charles Schwab, and it was a pretty disappointing tournament at the Charles Schwab, and he still finished second. PGA Championship tied 8th. He got arrested during that. I think we could give him a break here. He was first at the RBC Heritage, first at the Masters. He was tied second at the Houston Open, first at the Players, first at the Arnold Palmer. And then he didn't get off to that great of a start, but still tied for 10th at the Genesis, tied for 3rd at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, tied for 6th at Pebble Beach, tied 17 at the Amex. That is his worst placement this year, T17 at the Amex. That was in January. And the Century T5 to open the season on January 7th. Look at these results. I mean, so impressive. I mean, he is the best golfer in the world, and there's a reason. He's won 5 of the last 8 tournaments that he's played in. But in that time, he got arrested, and he had a baby on the way. And he finished 1-1 T2, 1-1 T8, T2, 1. And now he's going to the U.S. Open with a very good chance at winning that as well. I think he opened at a plus 300 to win the U.S. Open, which is insane. There was so much discourse about he opened as a plus 450 at the Masters to win it. This is a plus 300 for a major tournament. Scottie Scheffler is having one of the best seasons the PGA Tour has ever had. I mean, these are stats that are rivaled only by Tiger Woods in 2001, and that was 2001 Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer of all time, and I don't know if it's really debated. He is, I mean, it's just so impressive. He is the official world golf one by so much, and for great reason. I mean, nobody else is competing with this guy, but besides historical golfers of all time, I think he's having a better year than any year Jack Nicklaus has ever had, and he is the second best golfer of all time. Jack Nicklaus, of course, a better year than Rory McIlroy has ever had, better year than Jordan Spieth ever had, a better year than Justin Johnson ever had, better year than Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, all these guys that are fantastic golfers in their own right. But Scottie Scheffler is blowing them all out of the water. I mean, he was having an insane year, and then he showed up at the Memorial at Muirfield Village and got his first win at Jack's Place, which is one of those. I mean, there's like 3 golf courses that we really talk about, but that play like majors, and it is the Players. Although it didn't play that much like a major this year, at 20 under was Scottie Scheffler's winning score. But the Memorial definitely does, and he showed out and got 1 under, or he finished first was the leader for most of this tournament. I think he got the lead on Friday and then was first for the entire rest of the way. There was never really a point from Friday on that I was like, Scottie Scheffler might not win this. No, I think we all knew that he was going to win this. That's what's been so impressive about him. He has been dominant. You look, I said the stats. First in about everything, especially with the iron play, has been fantastic. Very impressive what Scottie Scheffler has been able to do. He puts himself at a better chance at getting birdie than anybody on tour, and he converts it at a better rate than anybody on tour. So Scottie Scheffler, very, very impressive what he's been doing this year. He's going to keep it up, going to the U.S. Open at number 2 Pinehurst in North Carolina. But that'll wrap it up for our third segment of the night. When I come back, we will be talking about Live Golf Houston, a review of how that shaped up over this past weekend.